My name is Reed Blinn of Newmark Knight Frank. Today we're very pleased to welcome for our City Business interview Todd Carmichael, co-founder and CEO of La Colombe. Welcome, Todd.
I think the lens that's best used to understand the compilation of my life and that of La Colombe is that I'm a disruptor. My life as a disruptor, I think began around 13 or 14 years old. If my mother were here, she would testify to the sorts of things that I had in my mind. I get obsessed with an idea and I need to carry it out until it's done. That I'm hard to console. And it began with jumping on moving trains, climbing mountains, trekking across deserts, and trying to challenge myself to engage with the world in dramatic ways. No one in my family had ever been to college, so that was really disruptive, to leave my little hometown and go to the big city of Seattle and study with all these people. My graduating high school class was 23 people, and here I was in a college of 50,000. And I took this leap towards business. I like the idea that behind everything I touch, that I consume, I see, I entertain myself, there was some common element, and that was business. And I felt the draw of that. Now, I wasn't qualified to do any work. I mean, they wouldn't even have hired me at Olive Garden. I wasn't qualified to do anything but carry hay bales or grain sacks or, weld a tractor or dig a ditch. This is kind of what I knew how to do. And it's hard to find that kind of work in Seattle until I found this warehouse, right? These big bay doors, I can still see it in my mind's eye, and they were all these guys about my age that were dragging these grain sacks around. And I asked, could I get a job? And they said no. And so I did what farm boys do. I came back every single day until someone didn't show up. And one day it was my shot. When I got in and I took a closer look at the grain sacks, I realized they weren't grain. They were raw coffee beans from all over the world, in these amazing places that I can only imagine, like Burundi and Uganda and Tanzania and Peru. And it really excited my sense of adventure. It was the sort of thing that reminded me of the mountains that I would climb or the trains that I would jump on when I was a kid, that there was some giant adventure behind every single one of these bags. And I wanted that to be a part of my life. When I looked at the roaster, I totally got that. This is gas-fired boilers, this is electricity, this is molded metal, this is things so it's like mechanics meets agriculture. And that's right at the crosshairs of everything that I understood for my earlier life. And so in a lot of ways, coffee found me, and then when I graduated the University of Washington, as I propelled my life forward, I then chose it back. And I realized this was my life. When you're in that really tiny birth part of the development of an industry, everything seems so critical. And so I heard of this French guy that had come from the south of France, and he was roasting in Seattle. And I was standing at a bar. It was a grunge bar. I mean, it was just like, shots were 50 cents. They sold beer in a can. They didn't trust anyone with glass, and there would be fights. It was just that kind of college era, kind of Seattle sound. And this guy pushed his way through the crowd right next to me and orders, "Yes, may I have a champagne?" This guy is ordering champagne in a Seattle grunge bar, and I realized it was him. So we struck up a conversation, and I don't know how many years later, we still share an office. This is my co-founder, it's my brother, it's the right brain to my left brain, and this is, he embodies, a big part of who we are as a company. I think that we break new grounds in so many different areas, whether that's, how we approach a cafe or whether we're an omni-channel business, but we also do it in another category. We're two partners who really get along. It's 24 years of slaving at it, and we've only had two arguments. One was about how to properly train a dog, and the other one was about squash. That's it. I mean, and they lasted 3 minutes each. We show people within our organization the importance of being a decent person to the people you work with, and that's what our company's about.